Hey, gang. All right. So this is my summation. So you want to live abroad after 6 months of being here in the UK. What have I learned? What do you need to know? One of the things I've learned, and this is something I've stated before, and it has not changed, is my faith and confidence in the National Health Service, the NHS. It is so much better than the United States system. I don't know if any of you had seen David Nosey, who does that Mixbus channel on YouTube. His fiance got sick and he made a video because she was in intensive care. She was in a coma, I believe. It was horrendous. I mean, you could see he was really trying to hold it together. Anyway, the point is he made a video about the insurance company turned her down for treatment. She's in intensive care, in a coma, and they turned her down. So this parallels my experience with the American healthcare system. I paid $1,200 a month for Cobra, like many of you do if you live in the States. And they just did this all the time. They did this all the time. I have a pre-existing condition. It didn't even matter that I had a pre-existing condition. They just ran amok. And we were constantly fighting. I had some great doctors who were fighting for me. It still didn't matter. They would just turn things, stuff down, regularly. And furthermore, and this is where I really felt with David, is 2 years after I had a bunch of surgeries and I was just about to move here to the UK, I started getting bills from doctors from past treatment. And I was like, oh, this is a mistake, right? This was paid, 2 years ago. Well, it wasn't. What happened was they had the right in small print to reverse everything. They're like, yeah, you had to read the small print. And I'm like, okay, well, you're going to give me back the $1,200 a month that I paid in those 2 years, and then I'll pay the bill. No, that's in the small print too. So anyway, before I digress too much, the NHS really works for me. I'm getting excellent service. I know some people are frustrated with it because there can be waits for certain surgeries and treatment. I feel horrible for those people, but maybe I'm really lucky because I've had the same doctor here for 9 years. She is fabulous and super detail-oriented and really takes great care of her patients and goes the extra mile to make sure that all of your tests and your body mass index and your blood and every freaking thing is in order. So still feel very, very good about the NHS. Big double thumbs up on that one. Now, dental is not covered by the NHS. And yes, it's expensive because you got to pay out of pocket or you've got to pay for some sort of plan. I'm paying out of pocket. I found out that one of my caps fell out. My oldest cap 23 years ago popped out and it was on a root canal, which means you're screwed, right? Because you got to rip the tooth out and put an implant in. Yeah, that's expensive. And they found some other stuff that, they're going to do some preventative things that are probably a good idea. We talked about it. So I'm going to be out of pocket on that. But let me say this too. The dentist I found is unbelievably great. Like, again, super duper detail oriented and organized and knowledgeable and kind. And on top of it, I have every confidence in her as well. So yes, that you got to pay for. And as part of my Cobra plan in the States, I didn't have to pay. Well, I think it's mostly covered. I was out of pocket on some dental things. On the big things, you got to pay something. On the checkups, nothing. Yes, that was great. That's the only time Cobra really worked for me in the States. So that is one difference, but I'm saving so much money from not paying Cobra that I can deal with it. And according to my dentist, once we rectify the few things that have popped up, I should be good for a few years, if not longer. So crossing fingers there. But even so, I'm okay with paying for it because, again, the service is aces. So those are two things right off the bat that I'm okay with. One thing that's really weird, this is going to sound funny, their boxes suck, right? The boxes that are used to ship things here are the flimsiest garbage, frankly, I've ever seen. Obviously, the Royal Mail must be amazing because how they don't destroy more packages and have them fall apart is beyond me. In fact, their expectations of service for shipping is way different from us in the States. Well, let's put it this way. I've sold some things on Reverb since I've been here, and all the comments are, it was amazingly packed and shipped fast. They don't ship very fast here. Like if you order something, it could be a week before they ship it, maybe longer. And then once it's on its way, it's pretty quick. I got to say that UPS, FedEx, DHL, even every EVRI, which people complain about here is like the weaker of the services, tends to get to me and works pretty well. The one that doesn't is Parcel Force. Every time Parcel Force, which is sort of connected part of the Royal Mail, oddly, because the Royal Mail I have no problem with, actually works really efficiently, but Parcel Force can never find my house. I've told them where it is. I've written them notes and added it to my account that it's a corner house of these two streets and doesn't matter. Parcel Force is an issue. So once the stuff is on its way, it's fine usually, except for Parcel Force. But the boxes are just, and then sometimes people, they have these plastic bags, these shipping bags that they use. Sometimes they just like close them up and stick a thing on them. I mean, even retailers that you may know, like Andertons, who does gear here. If you're watching this and you're not a musician, Andertons is a big gear retailer. They stuff it in these weak box things that aren't even real full boxes and then put them in plastic like 7 out of 10 times. And they get here, I don't know. So boxes are really a problem. The shipping is really good, but like I said, things take a while. They're just not motivated to ship things right away. Like if someone buys something from me, I'm like, I get it. You want it? You want that damn thing. You've paid for it. I print the label and I go right down to the drop-off point. It's like 2 blocks away. How hard is that? And it's not to say that other people don't have this, because drop-off points are like local news agents, right? Like bodegas, we call them in the States. That's what most of the time the drop-off points are, or post offices and sometimes shops like Aldi and Morrison's is a supermarket here. You can just take it up there, 2 blocks away, 2 blocks that way, 2 blocks that way, 2 blocks that way. I've got places to drop it off. So that's what's really odd. They're just, I don't know. Napoleon was wrong. They're not a nation of shopkeepers because it's pretty relaxed. That said, all the people who keep shop here are very nice and polite. Haven't really run into any issues. One other thing I got to say, this is another thing I've learned. This is very important, actually. So if you're going to join a gym or any facility here and do any sort of business, they're way more oriented towards bank drafts, bank cards, debit, direct transfers than I've never really done that in the States. Everything was by credit card or PayPal. I've never had somebody go, oh, just, bank draft it to me. And just seemed very weird to us. At least I've never had that much when I was in the States, but here, that's the thing. Whether you buy something from somebody or you join a gym or a club or what have you, everything is done on, especially subscription things are done on bank drafts. So you're going to need a bank account. To get a bank account, you need 2 forms of ID, but you also need to prove that you're paying taxes at the address you live. So you're going to need, like here in England, I'm sure this is similar elsewhere, you're going to need a council tax bill. You're going to need that piece of paper that says you paid your council tax. And with that and 2 forms of ID, you can get a bank account. It'll take about 2 weeks. And then you're going to find that bank account comes quite in handy because it's going to be kind of de rigueur for the UK anyway. But it seems like Europe in general. So that's another thing. Make sure you've got all your papers in order and you can prove somehow that you legitimately live at your address. And I think it has to be more than just your lease if you're renting. So keep that in mind. One other thing that's still bugging me, this is funny because those of you who have followed this, I had that mishap with the washing machine where I'm not even going to say it again because it was so stupid what I did. However, the washing machines that wash and dry, because, Europe is very different from the States too. Like in Norway, they just wash everything and then hang them on racks. That's been pretty much standard for, I don't know, years and years and years. Okay, so they have washer dryers here now, and I have a washer dryer. However, they don't totally dry. So if you're used to like in the States where, you wash something, then you put it in the dryer and it's totally dry, it's not going to be totally dry. That's not to say you need to hang it out on a rack unless you want to, but you might have to just let them breathe for about a half an hour afterwards. They won't be wet, but they won't be dry. So that's my other little pet peeve because, bought a new washer dryer, like the top of the line, and it doesn't totally dry. But at least I'm putting the detergent in the right place this time. So that's another thing to keep aware of. These are all little changes, that just different from American life. But a lot of things are different from American life right now, aren't they? So that's just a quick summation of my first 6 months. Do I enjoy it? Absolutely. This was the best thing I've ever done, which I kind of knew because I lived here before. That's how I got a doctor, because I lived here before. And it's definitely was an excellent choice, lifestyle-wise, emotionally, mentally. I love living in a city. I call London like a more civilized New York, and having grown up in New York, I'm with it. You know what I mean? But it's definitely a little bit more civilized, a little less hectic, a little cleaner. It does take a while to get places. Like if I want to go across London, that seems simple, right? Like I live in West London. If I want to go to Stoke Newington or Crouch End or what have you, it could take an hour. And you might have to change at least one bus and one train, if not 2 trains. When I go to play with my friends on Friday nights, I have to take a bus and 2 trains, 2 tubes. I switch the tube after taking a bus to the first train. Kind of a pain. What are you going to do? I hate driving, so I love mass transit. That's the other thing. The mass transit here is pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. Like any major city, you're going to have little kerfuffles once in a while, but it's pretty damn good. I always get to where I'm going. Another thing I just discovered is I found a softball league. Yeah, American softball. They play in Regent's Park here, which is gorgeous. It's like a really posh area, but the park itself is fantastic. A couple of Canadians on the team, a couple of Kiwis from New Zealand, a lot of Americans, and to be able to go out into a big open park and just like love it. So yes, this was a great decision. I'm getting to make music. My studio is, a little bigger than I had in Nashville. I love my skylight. I have much more light in this room than I did even in my Nashville studio, which I built. So that's really cool. Now, here's the other thing. Air conditioning is not a standard here. So when it gets warm, like it got up above 80 Fahrenheit about a week or two ago, I'm on the third floor with my studio, 2 more floors in the house. It got hot. It got a little hot. And, you can open the windows, but, I can't be recording with microphones on acoustic instruments with the windows open. With the windows closed, the sound is fantastically sealed because it's a passive house, PASSIV HAUS. It's, zero carbon footprint. But the reason the sound is blocked out is because the walls are super thick and the windows have to meet a certain standard. That's why you're not hearing anything right now. If I opened them up, you'd hear the street noise. So that's cool, but no air conditioning. So I'm a little afraid in another month or so, because I was here 2 years ago and that was the summer where they had 4 straight days over 100 degrees. Like it got up to 105, 103, 104 for 4 straight days. And I got to tell you, getting on the tube and hoofing it on the street, and people don't have air conditioning. So if you're taking a meeting someplace and it's not in a big corporate building that obviously will have air, if you're going to someone's private office, you are going to melt. I was melting. I was melting 2 weeks ago when I got to 80. So that's another consideration if that's important to you when you move over here. Like Norway doesn't have air conditioning either. So, if you're thinking of moving over to Europe or the UK, you might want to think about that if that's important to you. I'm hoping I can get by without it, but I will tell you, if I ever move again, I'm definitely going to make sure that I can keep cool, especially if I'm on the top floor. But yeah, everything else is good. The food's good. People are good. I joined an amazing health club, way better than any health club I've ever been part of. They got it together. Like, there's certain aspects that they really know what they're doing, and it's very, very comfortable. It's very, very expensive, right? So just like Norway, it's very, very expensive to make a move like this. So that's something else to consider. It's really expensive. But, free healthcare here, free healthcare in Norway. I don't know. You got to make that decision. If you have any questions, let me know. If I haven't covered anything, I'm just talking off the top of my head. There were some things that were, kind of top of mind that I wanted to share with you, because I haven't had one of these So You Want to Move Abroad talks in a while. But yeah, no regrets. No regrets at all. This was a fantastic move and spiritually was so fulfilling. And I feel younger. I feel better. I'm working out on a regular basis. I'm eating better. I'm eating healthier. Oh, that's the other thing. I got to say, the vegetables here, the food in general, lasts longer without preservatives. Like, you can taste that there's no phony crap in this stuff, right? It tastes better. It tastes fresher. It tastes more real. Like, I grew up, my grandfather grew all our vegetables. He had a piece of land that he grew all the vegetables, and he had chickens and whatever. That's how we got our eggs and everything, and chicken. That's how it tastes to me. That like, I got all sentimental about it one day. I'm like, oh my God, this is what I remember from when I was a kid. So there's not all that crap in it. The milk is better. Here's one thing. I'll leave you with this. The orange juice here kicks the crap out of American orange juice. I'll say that again. The orange juice here is incredible. So much better than in America, which is insane because we have at least 2 orange producing states, right? No. Even that fresh squeeze stuff you get in America isn't like this. I am addicted to the orange juice that I get from Marks and Spencer. But the orange juice from Waitrose is good. Even Sainsbury and Morrison, they're all way better than we get in the States, which really has to make you think a little bit like, wait a second, what are we getting? But I think that goes back to the food thing. So that's another thing that I think is making me feel better overall. I feel healthier. So mentally, physically better, totally worth it, but expensive. So I just want you to be clear on that. I'm not advocating for anybody to do it unless you can afford it. But boy, if this is something you've ever wanted to do, try it. Just try it out. I'm not saying sell everything and quit and go run off to the circus. But if you can pull it off, try it because you might really enjoy it. And the lifestyle is different, but it is a little better. I hate to say, yes, I know. Come at me, bro. It's a little better. It's definitely more peaceful and, dare I say, kinder. Yeah. So, we have to kind of accept everybody. I live in a neighborhood where there's so many accents going on. It's incredible, but it reminds me of being in New York. So I'm good with that. If you're not, then don't do it. But if you can do this, give it a try at least once and leave yourself an out, especially if you're younger. This was the perfect time in life for me to do this. And I'm making music. I'm having fun. I just finished that album that I made the videos for, creating an album from scratch. And Greg Griffiths in New York is mixing it for me. And then I'm about to go do some gigs. I'll show you some clips. I'm going to Norway to do some shows. I'll film it as much as I can and show you that process. And then I've got an couple albums coming out. Yeah, I've got a couple instrumental albums coming out, but then a singer-songwriter album that's been on the shelf for a while with my buddy Gary Heffern, who now lives in Finland. And that's a long story in itself. So that'll be coming out next year and there'll be a full tour. Like I'm just going to go and just one town to the next, which is much easier to do here. Could never do that in the States. It would be too expensive. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. Happy to answer them. If I missed anything, let me know. Oh, hey, and 2 quick addendums. I don't want this to go on too long. I appreciate your patience and sticking with this. 2 little addendums. First is that if you do use a washer dryer here, not only will it not totally dry if you're used to the way it does in America, it will not only not fully dry, but they will be wrinkled beyond comprehension. I don't know. I've tried everything. I've tried doing smaller loads, splitting up different types of clothing. It doesn't matter. They're going to be really wrinkled. So get yourself a good iron that works in the country that you're moving to. And secondly, here in the UK, for instance, the stairs are not the same size as in America. They're not as deep, like this way, as they are in America. I've got size 14 feet and they're very narrow. And I was tripping all over myself the first couple of months. It took a while getting used to it. I'm okay now. And I just approached them sideways. What are you going to do? But that's another thing you should be aware of. Very narrow stairs, and that not only will your clothing not get fully dry most of the time, maybe really small loads, but you're going to need a really good iron, unless you want to walk around with really wrinkled clothes.